Welcome to the Biz Alchemy podcast. We're at episode 120. Oh my gosh. So I thought to mark the occasion, I don't know if there's anything special about 120, but it was like 120. I don't know. There was something in the numbers that felt special. So I thought to mark the occasion, I'm going to do something different. So did you notice what the different thing was? You didn't have that lovely little music and jingle at the beginning. I'm going to try it without the intro and the outro. When I was first setting up my podcast, which was almost 3 years ago now, it was probably nearly 3 years, I started to play around and get things ready for it. And I had done a course on podcasting, and of course you create an intro and an outro. It wasn't compulsory, but I wanted to do everything by the book because that's how I did things then. And so I did create an intro and an outro. And recently I was watching some things on YouTube, some shows that I regularly watch, and some of them don't have an intro and outro, and some do. And the ones that do, I noticed a bit of impatience in myself, like, can we just get into it? I don't need to see this again. And then I suddenly went, hang on, that's what I do in my podcast. So I'm wondering if you've often thought, oh, do I have to listen to this again? Especially if you're listening to a few episodes. So I'm going to save you the hassle. You don't have to listen to it again. I'm going to see how it goes without doing an intro and an outro. So let me know how you enjoy it or not. Anyway, I've just taken double the amount of time to give the explanation, but now I don't have to give that explanation again. Anyway, today I am going to chat with you about the tantra of business. Now, I bet you never thought that you would see those two words together. And I don't know that I ever thought I would put those two words together. But it came to me on the beach a few days ago. I was actually thinking, my work now is so much about this embodiment of the sacred feminine and sacred masculine. And this is my work in business with regards to business, as well as my work with regards to the Rose line. And I was having a think about it and how vital this is for moving forward in business, for flowing forward in business, is to find this place of sacred union within ourselves and within our relationship within our business, as well as within our business. Now, I've always talked about this balancing of the yin and yang within, which is exactly what sacred union is. And I've chatted about this so much, and I have many podcast episodes on how to embrace more yin in your business, about the traditional yang model of business. So, this is not new to you. And I guess I'm just looking at it slightly differently now. And I'll go into that a little bit more in a moment. But where the idea for this came from, the tantra of business, is I did a tantra course in April. It was just before I went overseas, and it was a weekend. I did it with a couple who I know. I have done a yoga and meditation retreat with them before. They've been together for a very long time, really beautiful couple, but very grounded, humorous. And I thought, if I'm going to do a weekend of tantra, this is the couple that I'd like to have facilitating it. And it wasn't at all what I expected. In fact, it was a lot of conversation around the feminine and the masculine, which is actually what Tantra is. Tantra is the harmony of feminine and masculine. It is the sacred union within. And then if you're going to take it into the physical, it is then the transference of that, or the reflection of that, into your relationship, into your outer world. And there was something said in the workshop that really spoke to me. Now and again, you just take one thing away. And one thing that was said was that one of the reasons that many couples struggle now with intimacy in their relationship is because both couples traditionally go out, both people in the relationship traditionally go out to work and work in very yang environments, And then they come home and they maintain that yang energy. And this is particularly in the case of the female who maintains that yang energy because she's been in it all day in her work environment, and then comes home and probably remains in the yang because she's giving maybe to the family or cooking or washing or whatever. And then if it comes to a time when the couple are together and want to have intimacy, she is still very much in her yang energy. And for that intimacy, the polarity must exist. There must be feminine and masculine, because it's the polarity that actually draws together. Whereas if you've got two yangs, as we know from our positive and negative in our chemistry or physics or whatever subject that was in at school, it can repel. It does repel. So if you've got two yang, you cannot come together in intimacy. And when this was talked about on this workshop I did, it really spoke to me, and I was able to look back over my relationships and see how that played out. And it was exactly that. I was staying in my yang energy. And for us as women, we are often operating in our yang energy. And when we go into business, we are in a yang space because we are giving and we are in an action space. So this is sort of a bit of a background about why I share with you what I share with you about harmonizing the yin and yang in your business. When I was in Glastonbury, one of the meditations I ended up doing with the group at the Biz Priestess retreat there was seeing your business when it came in, seeing it as a masculine energy. And in that, allowing yourself to drop into the feminine, completely into the yin, to bring this beautiful communion between you and your business. And it had quite a profound effect on the ladies doing the meditation, because often they felt supported by their business for the first time because they allowed themselves to be supported by their business. In that, just, energetically, in that meditation, they dropped into being supported by their business. So have a think about your own life and how often you are in your yang energy, remembering that the yang is the giving out of energy. And I have spoken so many times on the podcast about receiving. And I've done a lot of work since early last year in the receiving energy, because this helps drop you into the yin. Receiving is a yin energy. And in fact, I'm more used to giving myself yin space now. And I've just had a couple of weeks that were full on yang, and I'm exhausted from it. Not so much in my business was still, I had the usual amount of giving out I have in my business, but I've had a lot in my personal life. I've had to do a lot of traveling, like not nice traveling. I mean, you know what I mean? Lots of driving, lots of practical 3D type tasks. And I've given out a lot. And I have not had much space to myself. And one thing, my travels in Europe, I had a lot of space to myself, and I've got used to that. And I've hardly had any of that. And I'm exhausted. I'm so exhausted from being in my yang all the time when I'm not used to it. And what's interesting about that is I've noticed, even in terms of my finances, the difference in energy and flow. So I've had 2 weeks fully in my yang, and in that, I've given out lots of money. I've just been giving, like not giving, I'm getting something in exchange, but spending a lot. There's been a lot going out, and the flow hasn't been coming back in the way it usually does when I'm in the space of harmony with my yin and yang. So I've spent, certainly yesterday, really just dropping into my yin, being in my creative energy. I even decided, I drew a card and it was something about creativity. And I thought, wow, I don't do a lot around creativity. And it was talking about writing. And I remembered 15 years or so ago, I used to write haiku and tanka. And I haven't done that for, that long. And I thought, I'm just going to have a play around and do some of this. So I wrote this little haiku about actually how I was feeling. I was feeling quite low and depleted yesterday. So I wrote a little haiku around it to do with the rose energy, because I thought I'm just going to write these little haiku to do with the rose line and just share them on Instagram because it's a bit of fun. And you know what? It was so imperfect. It's the first one I've written in 15 years. I'd even forgotten sort of the rhyming of haiku, the sort of syllables. I had to look it all up. But I just thought, I'm just going to start. And it doesn't matter that it's not perfect. And I felt so blissful after that I allowed myself to drop into that creative energy and express myself in a form of creativity that I'd completely forgotten that I used to love to do. So that dropped me further into my yin. Right, I've got completely off track here, but I sort of haven't. I mean, I just want to chat about embodying the yin energy, because this is a part of the tantra of business. So as I mentioned before, this harmony, this sacred union, this beautiful dance between the divine feminine and the divine masculine happens within your business itself. And that's what a lot of my podcast episodes have been about. It happens between you and your business. So do you allow yourself to drop into the feminine energy in relation to your business? So regardless of how your business shows up to you, whether it shows up as a feminine presence, it's actually still got quite a strong masculine energy to it because of what a business actually is. A business is there to provide a service. So it's giving out. So it does have a strong masculine energy. So do you allow yourself to be in the feminine in relation to your business, to be in the flow, to trust that you are supported? And then there is the ultimate, really, which is all about the sacred union within you, the beautiful harmony between your inner masculine and your inner feminine. And I was thinking about that this morning. I was thinking about the feminine within, the yin energy within. And I realized that as women, when we come together in a group, we allow ourselves to drop deeply into the yin. And I have this experience on my calls, whether it's my Patreon group, the Rose Line, we go very deeply into the feminine there, but also in my Biz Alchemy Playground group, we drop so deep in those calls. We really embrace and celebrate our yin energy and allow ourselves to drop deeply into that. And then when it came to my in-person retreats, like that, we do that on steroids. We go so deeply into our yin in those retreats. We find our yin. We remember our yin energy and reactivate it. So what I recommend for you is that if you don't already, find yourself a group where you can drop into your yin, where you can be supported in that energy, where you can allow that energy to emerge. It is priceless. And then if you can take that away, that brings harmony into your relationship within, your harmony in relationship with your business, perhaps with your partner or other people. And that will also translate across to the harmony within your business. And what I've realized as I am embracing more and more of my remembering of the rose line and what the rose line means, is that when we drop into that place, that sacred union within, that is when we are in our power. That is when we fully embody our path and have clarity about our path and the next step on our path. It comes from sacred union. Sacred union is everything. It is foundational. And you will not evolve your consciousness into what is termed the 5D if you have not found that space of sacred union within. Because that's when you open up to embody more of your consciousness, more of your spirit here on the earth plane. So if you would like to be amongst a beautiful group of women supporting you to drop further into your yin, if you are truly desiring to find this place of sacred union, this beautiful harmony between the yin and yang within you, so that you may have that reflection between you and your business and between you and others, well, then I invite you to join my Equinox Harmony Retreat. This is what it is all about. It's my petite retreat. I offer it every equinox. But interestingly, this year, I have called it the Equinox Balance Retreat before, and I've changed that to Harmony because I've always preferred the word harmony. But for some reason, the first time I created it, I came up with balance. That's okay. But we're moving into harmony now. Harmony allows more fluctuation between the yin and the yang, which is actually the true harmony of life. So I feel like I'm going to show up differently in this retreat. In fact, it's going to be different to the previous ones. Now, I call it a retreat. It's a bit confusing when I've got all my other in-person retreats. This is my petite retreat. It's my 2-hour online retreat. And this is, I think, the 6th or 7th one I've done. I've been doing them every equinox, surprise, surprise. And they're very powerful, and they're a beautiful way to commit to yourself to embodying the sacred union within. So this one will be a little different. We will still bring in the business energy, but we will not have the focus on the business that we have had in the past. This time the focus is going to be very much on you embodying sacred union, and then how that translates across into your business. So this retreat is $11, that's Australian dollars, which, with the exchange rate these days is peanuts to any other currency. You're probably paying cents. Not quite, but anyway. And it's on at 2 different times on Friday, the 22nd of September. So I'm running it, Australian Eastern Standard Time, which is Sydney, Melbourne time. I'm running it at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. The 10 a.m. one, retreat number 1, suits you if you are in North America. It's in your evening on the Thursday, the 21st. And the 6 p.m. one suits you if you're in Europe or the UK. I'll give you the link in the show notes. But if you go to my website, jacquelynatkins.com, under my beautiful new image at the top, you will see a little banner with the Equinox Harmony Retreat on it. And you can click on that and go and join. Choose which one you'd like to come to. Now, don't worry if you can't be there, because I send out the recording within an hour or 2 of the retreat finishing, and you can find some beautiful space to go on this journey on your own. So still join, even if you know you can't be there live. You will get the recording. Pick which one you'd like the recording of. So, if you're not sure, just pick 1 or 2, and that's the recording you will receive. But I do hope you can join me. I will be doing my little petite sessions, as I always do on these retreats. They are just such a beautiful energy. They're a beautiful way to honor nature, the harmony in nature, to be in touch with the earth, remembering we are of the earth, and this harmony is our natural place to be. I'd love to see you there. And it's the first online petite retreat I've done since returning from Europe. And that was such a big, big journey for me. So much has changed in who I am and in my way of showing up and holding space and in my power, I guess. I feel much more in my power now. I mean, not that I didn't before, but something has dropped in very deep. And maybe it is to do with this sacred union. So, jacquelynatkins.com. if you'd like to join me. So many blessings to you on this alchemical entrepreneurial journey. It's so much fun. Speak again soon.